Hey guys, it's Todd. By now you've probably seen day one. It's late in the afternoon on Saturday. Day one for me was Friday. Yeah, it's kind of rough. I played around with a few things, not to mention the fact that I slept in really kind of late yesterday. Just wasn't feeling well. When you don't get to bed with your CPAP mask on, it can kind of mess with you. Kind of happened again this morning. Not as bad, but I still, as I said, late start. And I've been futzing with the editing this afternoon, trying to get my groove. I really haven't edited a video in a long time. And even though it is a very simple and basic program, like a lot of people, I'm using, Microsoft's Maya Movie Maker. So, it's trying to remind myself of the quirks. So, apologies that, it's going to be rough as I get going. Apologies that the section I did in the morning, I was groggy. Yeah. Some of you might go, well, why didn't you just go back to bed? When you have sleep apnea, you're waking up because your body has hit a low point for your blood oxygen. And for me, that's at about 3.5 hours. I had it so many years before being diagnosed, my body actually doesn't want to sleep much more than 4 hours in general. I'm on medication for it, even with my doctor and stuff, so yeah. But when I don't have the mask, the blood oxygen level drops, my body wakes up because it's in the holy crap, if you don't wake up, we're gonna die mode. And then your body will not let you sleep until you have actually been awake long enough, breathing consistently enough to bring your blood oxygen levels back up to the holy crap, we're going to die levels. That's why sleep apnea can be really a scary thing. So, yeah, I was groggy. Not that I wasn't coherent, I just was kind of slow with the right words, I think. And what else was there to do? Honestly, there was no way, no chance in hell I was going back to sleep for a while. Because my body wouldn't let me. In fact, I think after I put the camera down, it was another hour before I could finally get back to sleep. The one selfie stick, the one I'm going to be using with this camera, which, before I forget, sometimes people want to ask things in tech, and I know I can be that way myself. I'm using an old Sony CyberShot, and yeah, I know that the video quality isn't as good as if I were to, say, use the iPad, probably comparable to the cheapness of that cheap. Did I say cheap? I meant to say cheap. $50 Kindle Fire I picked up last year. And nowhere near the quality that I can get with my cell phone. But I don't have to worry about someone calling if I'm trying to video. I don't have to worry that if something happens and the tripod falls over, that, oh crap, there goes my phone, stuff like that. I may use the phone for some things. If I'm really worried about causing some destruction, I'm going to break out the old Kodak I've got. But for the most part, the CyberShot is going to be. Now, I did talk about the selfie stick a little bit, and this is it. I say I modified it, and I did. If you get a closer look, hopefully that focuses. This had a horrible wobble, and it was just the end section. So this is actually scrunched up. I even think I took a hammer to it a little bit to try and ding it a little, but yeah, it's wrapped and strapped with the cable tie and a lot of electrical tape to lock it in position. So it doesn't extend as far as it did, probably about 6 to 8 inches shorter, but it's a lot more stable, and I needed stable for the other camera I have, the one that I'm not talking about a whole lot yet till I use it. Because I really do want to kind of throw a wow at you guys when you see that one. The other thing I wanted to show you kind of, and I talked about a little bit this morning, was this thing. When I visited Troy last fall, I had literally upgraded just as I was leaving. Like, I hit the road Sunday, Friday I bought a new phone. So last year when I went on a trip to see Troy and go on vacation for a friggin' week to get away from the nightmare called work, I upgraded the phone. I went from a Razor Flip, which was 8-9 years old, I figured. In fact, I walked into the cell phone store, and they were like, "That thing still works?" I mean, their eyes were just like huge. So I ended up bumping up to a Galaxy 6. Now, one of the things is yeah, it takes great pictures. We weren't halfway through the concert on Monday night when I made the decision that the camera, which I'm using for video, was going to get packed away except for certain stuff, because it was not taking good pictures at the concert. Something about the lighting system was just screwing with everything. But the cell phone, holy crap, it was getting nice pictures. So, yeah, I made the switch. And I was getting used to it and all this. So, probably I was a little bit more protective of this ridiculously expensive piece of technology that I'd finally given in and bought. So on the way home, one of the big stops was Yellowstone, followed by Mount Rushmore, and yeah, I was going to do Glacier, but oh my gosh, the driving. Anyway, squirrels, right? One thing that terrified me was when I wanted to take some good shots of certain things like waterfalls and stuff over cliffs. I was holding on to this, especially kind of one-handed. And when I came home, I did my research, and I looked and I looked and I looked. I finally found this. It's called a Shoulder Pod Pro. Now, the nice thing about it is it's got a huge range for sizes. You know, I can fit some big phones, I can fit some smaller phones. You'll notice that there's a fair amount of motion for that. So, got a nice wrist strap. I can hold it like this pretty well. And if I am using it one-handed, I am actually pretty good, pretty close for taking pictures. So, it works really well. It also has the added benefit, kill the camera on this, that the knob comes off, the strap comes off. More commonly, I have used it for several times actually, which is with a tripod. And this is my old tripod, my first tripod. I mostly use it in its shortened form, kind of like I'm using the Mini right now, when I'm doing stuff, because honestly, these are kind of awkward to adjust for uneven surfaces, and the pivot on this is a little wonky. But if I'm periscoping or Facebook Live or whatever, something like that, it actually is really nice because I can leave the phone hooked up and running. And it works well with the tripods. So, as I said, I can use it with the standard selfie stick. I can swap a different handle in if I want to feel more like a filmmaker, for instance. I bought this also this year. This is a camera handle. So if you want to use a camera more for video than anything else, it's great for just going around and whatever. Removable wrist strap. I can use it as an extension on a tripod. Something I've been thinking about for Troy is the fact that, you know, it also will work on a selfie stick. For somebody like Troy who complains about tired arm, well, guess what? Use the selfie stick as a stabilizer, the handle for your camera, and oh, hey, look. There are times I think, Troy, you need something like this. Then you don't whine about, oh, my arm's so tired, because go. Oh, there, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, I'm being sarcastic. But no, the other thing is, you know, if I am using the cell phone for, say, video, I can, instead, with a handle, I can go out and I can do nicer video. It actually, primarily this handle, and how nice it is it works actually really well with my other camera. That one, my third camera, the one we're not talking about a whole lot yet. It's kind of easy to get your fingers in the shot holding the camera. It's an interesting camera. It's a little awkward in certain ways. It's you have to know how to use it. You have to be used to using it. Truth be told, I use it mostly for still photos. I'm gonna try the video, but the video can be a real pain to edit. I understand, and I haven't really had a whole lot of practice with it yet. So having a handle under it helps. Helps a lot, because as I said, it's one, weirdly enough, it's one where you can accidentally get your fingers in the shot an awful lot, and I don't like that. I also don't like the fact that, you know, for the most part with like a selfie stick, you're not going to get a straight up and down unless you buy specific certain kinds of selfie sticks. Those are a little bit expensive. For this, using this with the Sony, it's not bad. The other camera is a little more sensitive to being straight up and down, and orientation matters for that camera more than any other camera I've ever had. Plus, with the other camera, and the reason I bought this type of handle with the removable, is my big tripod, the locking tripod. It has quick release plates, so I can lock the plate, take the strap off, lock the plate into that, put the other camera on it, use it as it is, and if I suddenly feel the need to just go and move with it, I'm not running around with a camera hooked to this little plate. I'm actually running around, yeah, it's still got the plate hooked to the handle, but it's under my hand. It's not where it's going to be bothering anything. So that makes it really kind of more flexible. I used that when I went and was doing 4th of July fireworks. Would have helped, and the reason I've never posted video of this year's 4th of July fireworks with that camera is location is everything, and I did not have the best choice of location. Ooh. Brass knuckles, maybe? Actually, I just realized. Oh, my karate instructor would approve. This handle would make a wonderful Kubaton. pressure point weapon. Yeah. I didn't realize that. It's almost like the one he made himself. Ooh. I might need to get Sensei into photography. He'll have an excuse to have a weapon with him then that really isn't a weapon. Except in his hands. Ooh, I like that. Okay, alright, I'm finding that way too funny. Anyways, probably a little more of an explanation for some of the stuff last night. That being said, that's all I really wanted to get across on the camera stuff. In fact, I might not even put much of this in. I might edit out a bunch of the camera stuff because, well, yesterday was camera stuff. But I'm going to finish editing. Apologies for some of the weirdness, awkwardness of yesterday. Exhaustion does that to me. In fact, the one section after I wake up, I literally did not edit a thing. It was like 2-3 minutes for that first chunk, and I left it there with the pauses because I figured it was best to actually let you understand that I was tired. I was fighting for the words. But that's me. So, took me a while for the editing, because I did start editing some stuff that I ended up just plain throwing away. When you finally see day one, you probably should have seen it by now. Although, to be completely honest, the 41% it's sitting at after about an hour and a half to 2 hours, it makes me wonder if it'll even make it up before midnight tonight. Which is frustrating and disappointing at the same time. I wish I knew why it was taking so long, because honestly, I've never had an upload take that long. Ever. And I have uploaded some longer stuff. So, I don't know what to think about that. I really haven't left the house today. I'm going to soon. We're going for a ride. Maybe when I come back it'll be done. So, yeah. It's stupid AM in the morning. I've done my visit to the ATM. I've been to the gas station and picked up my morning supplies. And now we are out and about. Just a little bit of a wander. Yeah, not a huge town, but you know, big enough. 3,600, 3,700 people. And by the way, Troy, not everything happens in Lakewood. Occasionally it happens here too. It's time for me to turn off the light, put the mask on, and get some sleep. And it's still stupid early AM. I definitely have my sleep cycle screwed up right now. Anyway, just wanted to kind of do a final thoughts for the day before I turned in final footage. I've learned a few things today. just from doing this. And I guess it's safe to say that I'm looking at this in many ways from the technical aspects, partly because that relates to some of the projects I want to do in the future. So if I talk about camera gear, or, well, I did this wrong and I'm going to have to do it this way from now on, well, that's part of my learning process, and part of the idea is to share ourselves, share our lives, and share what we're learning. So, so forgive me, I'm kind of a nerd, tech nerd. Personally, I think I've discovered that when it comes to style for vlogging, take after Ram. I think he and I both tend to have the urge to explain ourselves extremely thoroughly, which is a thoroughness, not necessarily a long-windedness on either of our parts. So I found it amusing when I realized that, yep, a lot of what I do is probably just like Ram. So he's probably never going to let me live that one down. Hopefully we'll be out to the fair tomorrow. I wanted to go today, but editing and then getting it uploaded, and yeah, that took more time than I intended. So, good night, guys. Take care. Sleep well. I'll harass you tomorrow.